Hello and welcome back to Start a Boutique with Raquel. I'm obviously Raquel, and since 2006, I have started multiple online boutiques as well as 2 brick and mortar locations. And now I teach other women like yourself how to start and scale thriving boutique businesses of their own. So whether you're just getting started in the boutique business or you're looking for ways to increase your sales, make sure to follow along and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any important boutique business tips. All right, so today's video is a little bit different. I went ahead and I asked you guys on Instagram. I did one of those little sticker things and I said, what questions do you have for me? Actually, I said, ask me anything. So you literally could have asked me anything, even if it wasn't boutique related, but all of your questions are pretty boutique related. So let's get into the questions. I went ahead and I typed them all out on my computer here and let's chat a little bit. Okay, so first question is, how did you get started in the fashion industry? So I actually got started after high school. I went to school at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and the intention was to do something like international business. I was looking into different foreign language degrees, things like that, and I couldn't really find a major that I wanted to declare. So I was undecided my first year of college. During that first year of college, I decided that I like to sew, I like to make clothes, so why don't I go to fashion school? And really, the main reason is I think I just wanted to move to Los Angeles. So I decided to apply for FIDM, which is the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. And so then I transferred there my second year of college and I studied merchandise product development. So I was really interested in becoming a technical designer. I did not want to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a technical designer, which focuses more on how to actually produce and make the garments that the designer designs. So say for example, a designer would draw a sketch of something, give you a few details, and then they pass it along to the technical designer. And we come up with how to actually translate that into a workable sample. And then you go through a bunch of different samples, whether you're in development or production, you go through a bunch of samples, make sure it fits right. So you would have to come up with measurements based on your fit model for the brand that you're working for. And then you get a sample and you fit the garment. Maybe you need to figure out how many buttons it needs, what types of buttons, the lengths of zippers, all the little details that you would probably think is unimportant. It is important to us. So that's kind of how I first started off. And then I worked a few years as a technical designer, and I had in the back of my mind that I always wanted to have my own business. And obviously, like, I loved clothes, so I wanted to have my own boutique. And then I kind of started putting those plans into motion. And when I was 23, I opened my first boutique. I did start selling a little bit on eBay first, and then I opened the online portion of it, like a website where people could come and shop. And this was in 2006. So don't do that math and figure out how old I am now. That's terrible. And then after I started the online boutique, then about 6 months later, or 4 to 6 months later, I opened my first brick and mortar location. So that's kind of my little story. All right, so second question you guys had for me was, how old were you when you started your first boutique? And I think I just answered that, and that was 23. I was 23 when I opened the doors to my first brick and mortar location. A few years after that, a year or two after that, I opened my second brick and mortar location, and then I continued to do the online boutique for quite a few years. And yeah, so 23. Okay, then you guys wanted to know, do you have kids? Yes, I do have kids. They are 3.5 and 1.5 right now. So it's a little crazy, but it's absolutely wonderful. I love having kids. It's been such a fun new experience, I would say, in my life. All right, next question is it hard to start an online boutique? I guess, like, what do you mean by hard? Like, I would say yes, it's hard to start any business. It's hard to do anything. really. You have to work hard for pretty much anything that you want in this life. So, do you want to work hard to, advance in your career? Or do you want to work hard for yourself and create a business and have that flexibility and freedom to sort of do more of what you want in life? But yes, I would say that it is definitely hard to open your own business, but it's definitely worth it. It definitely gets easier over time. And as you learn all the bits and pieces of what goes into it and you continue to get better at what you're doing, things start to get easier and easier. Like when I first started at 23, obviously, there's a lot that I still had to learn, but I would just take like little baby steps every single day. And then before you know it, you reach that bigger goal that you're thinking of. So it's really all about the little steps and not becoming overwhelmed by all of the things that you have to do, because eventually 100% you will get there. All right, so there's a few more questions. And the next question is, how do you drop ship? So drop shipping is when you put items on your website that you don't actually buy the inventory for. So you just put the products from another company and then your website is linked to this company and you purchase the products from that company and they ship it directly to your customers. So you don't have to handle any products. So it's a great model to get started when you don't have a lot of startup costs, because you don't actually have to buy the inventory, which is like one of the biggest costs of starting an online boutique. So dropshipping is a great way to get started. My favorite way to do that is with Shopify, because Shopify has so many apps that will connect you to different dropshipping vendors. You choose the products that you want to feature on your site that you think that you can sell. You can even test out products. Dropshipping is a great way to test out products if you're not, if you don't want to invest right away into inventory and you just want to like test a new trend or something like that. You can totally put some dropship products to help fill up your store. Say you spend $1,000 on inventory and then you fill up your store with the rest in drop shipping. So essentially then you would link your Shopify store with an app to the place where you're going to get your product from for drop shipping, and then it just automatically syncs and it all works seamlessly together. All right, next question is, how do you private label? So if you don't know what private labeling is when somebody else is designing and making the product, but you're putting your label on it. So you're not necessarily designing your own line, but you can have your own label and brand on the product. So it's really, really a great solution to be able to have sort of exclusivity in your boutique and make it seem like you have your own brand. I mean, you do have your own brand, but instead of having to come up with all the money to design your own line and to design your own brand, it costs a lot of money to do that. So this option, you will be buying, say, from a vendor who is also selling that same thing to other boutiques, but the difference is that you will be putting your label on your garments and the other boutique is putting their label on their garments. So it's a great way to be able to offer your own boutique's brand to your customers, and it really gives that special factor that they're like, oh, this is something special. This is something that only this boutique has because this is their brand. So you could literally private label any product that you want. It doesn't have to be just clothing. It could be jewelry. It could be shoes, it could be soaps, it could literally be any product that you can think of. You can private label it and put your brand on it. So essentially think of what Amazon does. A lot of those vendors on Amazon are just private labeling and putting their own brand on the products. Okay, so the final question is, how long before you start making money with an online boutique? And that's a great question. And I wish I could answer that and be like, oh yeah, it takes you 1 month to start making money. But it really just depends on so many different factors. It depends on what type of boutique you're starting. It depends on how much you're investing in inventory. It depends on what your budget is for marketing and advertising. It depends on so many different factors that you really can't say whether you're gonna make money, you know, like tomorrow, or you're gonna make money 6 months from now, a year from now. But what is important is that you actually have a plan for this. I'll go ahead and link below. There's a couple videos that will help you sort of plan that out as far as like how much inventory to buy to meet your sales goals and to meet these profit goals that you're setting for yourself. So I think that's the first thing that you need to do. You really need to come up with how much that you want to make from your boutique. And then you need to set out the plan on how you're gonna get there. And then you can kind of see the timeline of maybe how you can get there. So say for example, you were gonna start off with $1,000 in inventory, but that's not your, you know, ideal goal. Eventually you want to have $10,000 in inventory so that, you know, you can sell it and make $30,000. So that's like the ultimate goal. So then once you know, say for example, you spend that $1,000 on inventory and you make $2,000, then you take that $2,000 and invest in more inventory. So a lot of times you are reinvesting into your business until you get to the point that you want to be at. So if, say for example, you only wanted to make $1,000 from your boutique, then, you know, you could stop right there and not continue to grow. But what a lot of people do is just keep reinvesting until you get to those profit and sales goals that you have set for yourself. So it's really going to depend on you and what you want for yourself and your business and your boutique, but just make sure that you have a solid plan to get there. All right, guys, so I hope you liked that little Q&A. If you have any other questions for me, go ahead and comment below. I'd be happy to answer them. And also, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.